This program is made to deprogram you to what you've been programmed to, right?
That's exactly what we're about. You have to remember that. Look, whether we get 1 million views or we get 1, it is still Be More. Believe me, for real. I refuse to have a generation behind me not doing better than me.
Right.
That doesn't make sense.
Right.
I can't sleep at night knowing the next generation is going to do worse than I. That doesn't make sense.
Be more for real.
DMV and Be More.
Put the number 4 up. Show
When
them
we
the number
live
4.
here,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, we separate. But when you move outside of Maryland, we all the same.
We all the same.
We all the same.
Canada
When you
is.
move outside.
But you gotta play your role.
Canada is Be More for real. We appreciate y'all. We appreciate y'all. We appreciate.
Welcome to BMore4Real podcast. Get ready for the realest conversations anywhere on the net.
Keep it locked with us.
We planting seeds in the streets where the hearts is cold, where the young ones bleed, where the truth ain't told, where the pain run deep and the dreams get stole. We bring light to the block, the righteous seed will grow. From boys to kings, from girls to queens. No more suffering in our sleep, it's just a righteous dream. We speak light in the mist where the darkness unfold, healing our youth, hoping y'all could save their soul. The YNs, they walking around with a pole in their book bag. Heart so cold, they end up with a toe tag. No pops, just a Glock and the pain in their jeans. Mama be working double, missing all of their dreams. So the block, they raise them up in a predator way, where the love is getting taxed and the trust don't pay. The OGs, they put some trauma like it's part of the code. Now they sleep with a pole, feeling safe on the road. I walk around with the word exposed to deep in the night, speaking life to the broken, trying to bring them to light. Told the shorties on the block, don't let the trauma define you. Yahweh see your scars through the fire, refine you.
Yeah. Be more for real. Be More for Real is in the building, man. Be More for Real is in the building. I am your co-host. I am your host for the night. Y'all already know it's OMG Danny, man. What's up with the fam? What it do? What it be, man? Let's go ahead and clap that up. Man, Be More for Real. This is the realest conversation on the internet, man. If this is your first time listening, this is brought to you by way of Real Explosion, man. And all praises to the Most High, first of all, first and foremost, man. Let's go ahead. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and shift over to Be More for Real moment. Let's shift over to a Be More for Real moment. If y'all can hear me, y'all can see me. That is what it is. I know there's some technical difficulties. It's really raining and storming and it's dark outside, but I got some light. I got some light anyway. Regardless, we're gonna go ahead and clap that up as well. We're gonna go ahead and clap that up. Man, Be More for Real. The realest conversations on the net, brought to you by way of Real Explosions, rated R for reality. What more can I say? Number one podcast in Baltimore. I can say that too. You know what I'm saying? Number one podcast in Baltimore. Y'all see the trophy, man. It's a pleasure to be with y'all today. I'm going to go ahead and do that. You know, make a little sound effects. Yeah, so let's go ahead over to the Be More for Real moment, like I said. And, man, what a week it has been. What a week it has been. And, I want to shout out Be More Pod and all that. You know, I was there on Thursday, right? I was there on Thursday, and what had happened was, you know, when a person start with that, you know, what had happened was, you know, started on Thursday night. It started with, you know, the end of Thursday's show, right? And then on top of that, we had went out to celebrate for Lene. And I know y'all all know Lene. That's the greatest shade of gray. Shout out Lene. She was on the podcast. Shout out Lene. But I was there on Thursday, and let me just tell you about the story. I was there on Thursday, right? And right after the show ended and all that other stuff, we had went to, I believe it was the Windsor Inn. The Windsor Inn, and of course DJ Duke. Shout out DJ Duke. DJ Duke was on the ones and twos. He was spinning it, you know what I'm saying? DJ Duke. And we had a great time. We had a great time there at the Windsor Inn. Then we went to Rosario's. Shout out Rosario's and everything else like that. And we got a comment already, man. It's an icon. He said, "What's up, family? What it do, bro? What it do, bro? Then we went to Rosario's, right? So I'm gonna tell you how it was. It started on Thursday. Right at the Thursday show on BMore Pod, right? We went to go celebrate Lene at the Windsor Inn. And DJ Duke was performing at the Windsor Inn, by the way. And then Lene is on the radio, by the way. That's what we were celebrating. She's on 92Q. She's on 92Q, and I think it is WOLB 1010. She's on both of them from 3 to 4 p.m. So, all right, so with shout out to Lene. We're going to clap that up, too. Congratulations, Lene. So after that, right, after the Windsor Inn, we go to Rosario's. I mean, like, the Windsor Inn ended like 2 o'clock in the morning, and then it was Rosario's from the Windsor Inn. And I had drinks. I had plenty of drinks. I had a good time. I had drinks. I had plenty of drinks. And before I knew it, it was basically like 6:47 or something. I'm back at the studio up at BMore Pod. A couple of us chilling, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking to Dennis or whatever. We up real late, right? Next thing I know, I realized the sun was up and it was light. And I was like, what in the world? I said, yo, it's 6:47 in the morning and I still ain't even, I said, I got to go over to the radio station. Shout out KB. Shout out Dr. KB, I should say. And Wayne. Shout out Dr. KB and Wayne. You know, I was with them on... I was with them on Radio 1, WRB 1010, and I happened to see Lene again that second day, right? So it was good again. I seen DJ Duke too, so we seen each other like hours apart, but barely even got any sleep. So then after that, Wayne had a party. Shout out to Wayne, Crunch Time. Shout out to Crunch Time Podcast. Like I said, shout out to Dr. KB. They had me in the studio or whatever. I was just working behind the scenes as I normally do. But shout out to them. But Wayne invited me to his crib and his spot, and they had a get together and everything like that. Man, he had curry, snow crab legs, and a lot of stuff. Man, it was just crazy, right? And from there, it was just crazy, man. It was just crazy. It was. Man, shout out to the crazy week I had. It was amazing. It was amazing. Bobby B is in the house. Shout out Bobby B in the house. Shout out Bobby B in the house. Yo, y'all know this is the real conversation anywhere on the net. I don't do this like that. And I'm gonna get into it too. Stick with me, right? We got the whole system versus the soul, man, and I'm gonna get into it, right? I'm gonna get into all of that stuff, but of course we had the Monday night show. The Monday night show is always awesome. Shout out Big Brother Eric. We just gonna go ahead and go in there. We're gonna spin that clip real quick. Let's go ahead and let's go.
I'm gonna kill these mofos for real. Give me a chance. It was more of a comment, right? They don't be because of passport.
But anyway, I gave y'all props. That's it. I'm done with y'all. That's it.
Oh, keep it coming, keep it coming. It's not the end. It's not the end. V's a legend. Like.
That's super.
So, I mean, sometimes stuff like that does cause a distraction. So, had him off his game. Like, he knew something was coming out. Like, pipeline, when he was kicking that ball, something else was going through his head. 16 therapists, accusations, from 2012 to 2016. God. Yeah, it's kind of weird because, like, the timing of it, but just for 16 What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, obviously.
I was like, who does that? Who does that? Who does that?
So, right, like people think you just go in there and boom, one cut, and it takes time and effort.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to really invest into it. And
right.
You got to really like.
Tune in to Be More Sports Talk Live every Monday at 7 p.m. exclusively on the Be More Pod Network.
I'm going to kill these mofos for real. Give me a chance.
All right. We're going to go ahead and do that for them. Hey, yo, I had to, look, I already know the video is messed up. It's a crazy day. It was crazy weather last week. It's been crazy weather for the last few weeks, so I apologize for the equipment. We're going to get it together here at BMore4Real and at Real Explosion. But let's just look past that. Let's see past that. I just want to give a shout out to BMore Part, the Monday Night Sports Show. Y'all already know the Monday Night Sports Show that is popping. Before I even go any further, we got some flyers to put up. We want y'all to get engaged with the community. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this flyer up. And give me a second while I go ahead and get there myself, because y'all know I gotta fumble and do everything. You know what I'm saying? Basically right here, live, real time. So let's get this first one up, right? And y'all see the screen. This is Summers in the 7th. This is the decision that presents the Community Block Party. It's Saturday, August the 9th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. I'm on Darman Mall, 3201 Tioga Parkway. Y'all got the address. Y'all see everything on the screen. James Torrance, Baltimore City Council District 7 is the one responsible and one of the partners of the event. The Baltimore Teacher Network. There's backpack giveaways and things like that. And the QR code is on the screen. So make sure y'all go ahead and support the community, because y'all know this is Be More For Real about everything. We be more for real about our circumstances. We be more for real about our surroundings. We be more for real about our city. So let's make sure that we continue to be more for real on that. All right, so next. Let's go next. All right, so y'all should be able to see that on your screen. This is the YSLI Annual Youth Ceremony and the fundraiser. I hope you guys pay attention, man. YSLI, man, they doing a lot of things in the community. We share a lot of things with them and from them, and we will hope that you guys go out and support the community. This is ultra important. We will hope that you guys go out and support the community. Like I said, we are more than just a podcast. We are reaching and connecting you guys with the community. So this event happens to be on Saturday, September the 13th, 2025. We have plenty of time to make sure that we can support them. The QR code is on the screen as well. This is at 1000 Cathedral Street. It will be food, speakers. There's a youth ceremony. The attires is casual. Y'all have everything that y'all need on the screen to support YSLI. We can go ahead and clap them up as well. Let's run through these announcements. YSLI. You know they have the Emerson cleanup. They clean up the community. Like I said, let's stand out and let's support the community. Let's stand out and let's support the community. YSLI, again, on Saturday, July the 19th, 2025, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Y'all see the meetup spot. We are cleaning up the community. Shout out to YSLI. One community at a time. I'm sorry I had to run through all of them announcements, and I'm not sorry, because I want you guys to pay attention. I want you guys to support the community. This is ultra important. Also as well. So let's do this. I have a pleasure of working with BMore Part on several levels. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna run this shameless clip, because those guys are awesome. They rocking. They're good at what they do. You just got to tune in. If you never saw it, you just got to tune in and pay attention. Let's go ahead and do that shameless.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Out there.
Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things.
Well, let's say names and get sued. Let's tell people names and get them sued. Let's tell everybody. Let's just tell the whole damn truth.
I'm saying to the sisters and the brothers, because we're not going to be biased, because the same way these men out here cheating, honey, these women out here praying. P-R-E-Y. Period. You're not going to argue with me about it.
When they should be doing this praying.
Right.
He owed me his loyalty. That part.
Hi, I'm Sherelle, known as Misty Blues. Hi, I'm Glenise, known as Lady Angelic.
Hi, I'm Felicia, also known as the Visionary.
I'm Monica, known as Moni Love.
I'm Leah, better known as Songbird.
And we're Shameless Unplugged.
You know, Monica, to address what you said, what you did to get them, you have to do to keep them.
That's exactly right.
On both ends, though.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I said. That's why I was saying.
I know where you're going.
Wait a minute. You know what? I love what Erica said up there. She said, tie him to the bedpost. My girl, that's my type of thinking.
We're going to start reading Erica stuff. We all know Erica.
And so let the church say amen.
Amen. What's the highest praise? Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
All right.
Hallelujah.
I was.
Shameless Unplugged. Another Be More Pod production. Coming to you live. Every other Tuesday at 7 p.m. Exclusively on the Be More Pod network.
I don't know if they're ready for this one.
That's a heavy one.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and clap it up for Shameless. We're going to go ahead and clap that up. Standing ovation. Such a lovely podcast. Such a man, lovely is not the word. I'm not even going to say lovely. I mean, it's real. It's dope. It's live. What more could you ask for? I know y'all waiting for the System versus the Soul and things like that. And we're going to get into it. And they say the system was made to protect us, but every day it feels more like we caged than having a shield. We go to school and we don't learn how to think, but we memorize to conform and compare to serve a machine. I'm gonna tell you what that machine is. We just got a lot to get into tonight, man. We got a lot to get into tonight. We clocking these jobs. We hate these jobs. We buy things that we don't need. We try to impress people that don't care about us. And we call that freedom. I'm gonna get into a lot of this stuff tonight, and it's gonna be difficult, right? Because this program is made to deprogram you to what you've been programmed to. Again, this program is made to deprogram you to what you have been programmed to. And a lot of the talk is going to be heavy. I can't just back away from it. Just be ready for it. And all comments are appreciated and they are welcome. Whether you agree or disagree, the platform is open, the mic is open. Let's just clap it up for that. Anyway, as I digress, there are a lot of good things going on within the community, and I have one more flyer for us to run down. Let me go ahead and find this. I have one more flyer for us to run down. Let's do Tasha's Tasty Treats. You guys see the QR code on the screen. They give away food almost every single week, it seems like. But I ain't gonna say every single week, but they give out food a lot frequently. And good food, good meals, they provide to the community. Make sure y'all show y'all community support for Tasha's Tasty Treats. Tasha's Tasty Treats. Say that 3 times fast. Tasha's Tasty Treats. TTT. Not PPP, but TTT. But anyway, as I digress, it's a lot. I know I said that was the last one, but it's not. It's really not. We definitely have the June comedy night Excuse me. Not the June. Let's not do that. I mean the Sanford and Son. We have the Sanford and Son. That's the flyer. That's the appropriate flyer. Sanford and Son, the stage play. It is on Sunday, August the 31st. Monday, September the 1st. Y'all go ahead and buy them tickets, man. Ricky Shackelford. He was just on here, man. Shout out Ricky. The real deal. Shackelford. Shout out Ricky, the real deal Shackelford. I mean, amazing. Such an amazing guy. Y'all see the information, man. Let's go out and let's support our community. Baltimore is full of talent and everything, man. It just, for real, it does something to me just to see that. But without further ado, what I wanted to say though was like, hold on, let's go ahead and switch over. We're gonna go ahead and switch over to the topic of the night. Let's just switch over to the topic of the night. Let's do that. The topic of the night, the system versus the soul. I know that's what y'all came here for, right? Y'all came here, I ain't gonna keep y'all long at all. I bet you I ain't gonna keep you long, right? Unless y'all want me to. It's a lot to talk about. It's a lot to unpack. And what I want to start with, what about the system versus the soul? Let's just start here. We buy things that we don't need to impress people that don't care, and we call that freedom, right? The system tells us what success is and what beauty is, but the truth is, the soul, it whispers to us and it asks us and it tells us and it reassures us that there is much more than this. There is much more than this. Tonight we're not talking about politics. We're not just gonna talk about politics. We're gonna talk about your soul that's under surveillance. Again, we are not going to just talk about politics and all this other stuff. We are going to talk about your soul under surveillance. Your spirit being sold piece by piece for likes and clicks and for control. This is about the dreams that's being buried under the algorithms and under the bills we have to pay and under the societal. That's the word I made up, societal. It's not a real word, but like I told you, I'm gonna make up a whole lot of words. Societal, I guess the proper word is societal, whatever the case may be. Y'all know I'm gonna make up some words. But look, we talking about the societal pressure, the societal pressures that bury and suppress our dreams through this algorithm. We talking about our children and our loved ones, our young ones, our nieces, our nephews, our little cousins or whatever. We talking about all of them that's being raised on the TV screens. We talking about the system versus the soul. While our parents are out here chasing survival in this economy that's broken and designed to keep us grinding and keep focused on the system, we talking about the soul. And this is not just America. This is not just America. This is global. Did you hear what I said? I don't think they heard what I said. This is not just America. This is global, right? This is systemic. This is the spiritual warfare that they dress it in paperwork and Wi-Fi. We see the tensions that's rising from D.C. in America, right? We see the Iran war. We see all that stuff on TV from D.C. to Tehran, whatever. But ask yourself, I want you to ask yourself real quick, who is pulling the strings behind the scenes? I want to say that clearly. Who is pulling the strings behind the scenes? I'm glad I didn't fumble that. It almost sounded like a tongue twister. Who is pulling the strings behind the scenes? Try to say that 3 times fast. But anyway, fear is always on the menu. And how do we break down and how do we break out without losing humanity is the question. Again, how do we break free and how do we break down and how do we break out without losing our humanity. Because a lot of times, this stuff is the system. While we see people go to jail for this, that, and the third, and we want to judge them on the outside looking in, while we see people going through and suffering in their marriages, and we want to say on the outside looking in, while we sitting there looking at people suffering through their finances, and we on the outside looking in, we're going to ask, who is pulling the strings? And at what? And where is the humanity at? Where is the humanity at in that, right? And I'm telling you, I'm not gonna preach to y'all, but this program is made to deprogram you what you've been programmed to. Need I say this again? This program is made to deprogram you to what you have been programmed to. And as simple as that. But the system, it wants obedience. But your soul, it wants truth. It wants love. It wants purpose. Again, the system wants your obedience. But your soul wants the truth. Your soul, it wants purpose. Your soul, it wants love. All right, so tonight, that's what we're going to get into. We're going to get deep into all this other stuff. It's not like red versus blue. It's not the East versus the West. It's not the Democrat versus Republican. It's not light skin versus dark skin. It's not fat versus skinny. It's not tall versus short. It's not gay versus straight. It's not none of that. This is the system versus the soul. The system versus the soul. And just wait, yo. I got a couple videos. I don't have a lot, but I got a couple videos that I want y'all to see. And I know the screen blurry. You know, the weather is real bad. It looked like dead night when it should not be at this time. It's extremely overcast. And, you know, it's been hot for the last couple of weeks, so we've been having technical difficulties for real. It's, like, extremely hot. And that's why I got the rag here, too. But bear with me. It don't even matter about the graphics at this point. The only thing that matters is just watching and pay attention, because when I pull up these videos, you're going to see it in full definition. It's just the live stream connection as I digress. You know, I'm just keeping it real. Be more for real. I'm just keeping it real. Be more for real, right? But tonight, we're going to start with the system versus the soul. We're going to get real. We're going to get free. We're going to be more for real. So I got some videos and stuff like that to share with y'all, right? I got some videos to share with y'all. And shout out, it's in the icon. My brother said, let's go. Let's go. It's time to go. It really is. It's time to go there. It's time to go there. I'm going to share my screen, right? I'm going to share the screen. And let's just go. Let's just go here. It's called a social dilemma, right? And I know y'all can't see it yet, right? I'm going to share the screen in a little bit. And I know y'all can't see it, right? But let me give you a little bit of insight. So what happens is, with the system versus the soul, is that a lot of times who we are as a person is being compromised by the media and by the things we see on TV, by the things we see in entertainment. And we don't realize that, and we don't understand that. And it's so ultra important, because life imitates art and art imitates life. Again, life imitates art and art imitates life. It's a lot deeper than you will understand in this journey that we call life, right? And our thoughts are being modified and engineered. Remember, this program is made to deprogram you to what you've been programmed to, by the way, right? But our thoughts are being engineered, right? And it's being engineered by the government. It's engineered by the system. Make no mistakes, ifs, ands, or buts about it. But what do I mean by the system versus the soul? What does it mean to have the system versus the soul? See, the system tells us that, you know, you need to work 40, 50, 60, 70 hours a week, and both parents need to work 50, 60, 70 hours a week. But, you know, the soul tells you, and the child soul will tell you, I need time with mommy and daddy, but the two can't be true at the same time. These two can't be true at the same time. How are you going to spend time and make money at the same time? This is a strategic dichotomy. I want to use my words cerebrally. I want to use my words in a way where you can also understand to is very fundamental. So although it's cerebral, it's also simplistic. But so what I'm saying is, okay, so you got, let me show you the system versus the soul again. You got the system which tells you, oh no, both parents, you need two incomes. Now today, no longer can the man just work, and that's not the case for every household, of course, but for the majority of America, which, like I said, this program has made it deprogramming what you've been programmed to. I know we've been seeing them people on TV that have been rich and that been living all them lives. Let's talk about us and the lives that we live and where we are, because that they're selling us a fantasy, number one. Back to my original point is that this is the dichotomy. They say, the system says that, oh no, there needs to be two parents in the household, right? And the system say there needs to be two parents or two people working in the household. No one person, based on this economy, can live and thrive and maintain a household just purely off of one income. And so we look at that and we say, okay, that's the system. The system tells you that you need to work. You need to work for, and this is another avenue of that as well. The system says you need to work for 60, 70 years and tell you the age of 72 or whatever the time and age is, and then you can go off of your hard-earned money or whatever the case may be, your disability, your pensions, your retirement plans, your 401ks, and all that stuff. The system says that you have to work and dedicate yourself to the system that long, but your soul and the souls of the people in your family around you, they say, yo, I don't care about your money. I need time. I need guidance. I need resources. I need respect. I need love. I need these things that money cannot buy. By no means can money purchase this thing. Can money purchase these things? And we wondering why we are confused in our mind and why a lot of people suffer with depression. But I'm gonna tell you, a lot of this stuff is the algorithm. But hold on, before I even get even deeper into this, we're gonna go ahead and drop this video. I'm gonna go ahead and share the screen. And you should be able to see it clear. I'm not sure, but if you can't, let me know. At least let me know if you can hear it, because that's the most important part. If you can hear it, then that is the most important part. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna play this video. Let's do it.
When you go to Google and type in climate change is, you're going to see different results depending on where you live.
Let me know. I'm gonna pause it for 1 second. I need y'all feedback. Can you hear that? Put the ones in the chat. For those that's in the stream, if you can hear that video, put the ones in the chat. Put the two in the chat if you can't, because I'm not gonna move any further. I need to make sure that y'all can hear this. Put them ones in the chat, and I'm gonna wait. I know it takes a couple seconds. What is it called? RTMP, real-time message protocol. Yeah, I know it's about 45 second, 60-second delay. So put them ones in the chat, put them twos in the chat. I'm waiting for y'all response. Can y'all see and can y'all hear the video? Put them ones in the chat. And by the way, remember, this program is made to deprogram you to what you've been programmed to. This is BMore4Real. Go ahead and hit that like, share, and subscribe button. You're going to learn something today. Oh, you're going to learn something today. You're going to learn something today. Don't go nowhere. I know the video blurry and all that stuff. It's bad weather. We had bad connection. It's hot as I don't know what. But we're going to make it happen. Oh, you're going to learn today. Can I see the ones in the chat? Ones in the chat. Could you hear the video? I paused it. Let's start it over again. I need the feedback.
When you go to Google and type in climate change is, you're going to see different results depending on where you live and the particular things that Google knows about your interests.
That's not by accident. That's a design technique. What I want people to know is that everything they're doing online is being watched, is being tracked. Every single action you take is carefully monitored and recorded.
A lot of people think Google's just a search box and Facebook's just a place to see what my friends are doing. What they don't realize is there's entire teams of engineers whose job is to use your psychology against you.
Okay, I had to go back because nobody's saying anything. I need to make sure that the video is playing. So what we're gonna do is we just gonna run it back real quick, and then we gonna go ahead and play the video. Let's go ahead and play this video because I believe that we can hear it. Let's just play the video one more time. It's only 2 minutes. Let's go.
When you go to Google and type in climate change is, you're going to see different results depending on where you live and the particular things that Google knows about your interests.
That's not by accident, that's a design technique. What I want people to know is that everything they're doing online is being watched, is being tracked. Every single action you take is carefully monitored and recorded.
A lot of people think Google's just a search box and Facebook's just a place to see what my friends are doing. What they don't realize is there's entire teams of engineers whose job is to use your psychology against you.
I was the co-inventor of the Facebook like button.
I was the president of Pinterest,
Google, Twitter, Instagram.
There were meaningful changes happening around the world because of these platforms. I think we were naive about the flip side of that coin.
We get rewarded by hearts, likes, thumbs up, and we conflate that with value and we conflate it with truth.
A whole generation is more anxious, more depressed.
I always felt like fundamentally it was a force for good. I don't know if I feel that way anymore.
Facebook discovered that they were able to affect real-world behavior and emotions without ever triggering the user's awareness. They are completely clueless.
Fake news spreads 6 times faster than true news. We're being bombarded with rumors.
If everyone's entitled to their own facts, there's really no need for people to come together. In fact, there's really no need for people to interact.
We have less control over who we are and what we really believe.
If you want to control the population of your country, there has never been a tool as effective as Facebook.
We built these things and we have a responsibility to change it. The intention could be, how do we make the world better? If technology creates mass chaos, loneliness, more polarization, more election hacking, more inability to focus on the real issues, we're toast. This is checkmate on humanity.
All right, this wasn't no promo. All right, this was not a promo. Trust and believe, this was not a promo. But I did use a promo trailer for a reason. We're going to go ahead and clap it up again, man. Be more for real, the realest conversation. Look, I know the connection is not the best. It's not the best. We've been having some technical difficulties for the last couple of weeks, and the heat, it hasn't been pleasant. But stick with us. We got something good for you anyway, regardless. So let's continue on with this, man. Let's continue on with the topic of the night: the system versus the soul, right? And you guys saw the power of the algorithm. And by the way, we're trying to get in the algorithm too, so we can deprogram the people to what they've been programmed to. So if you could do us a favor, real quick, hit that like button, right? Take 1 second, take 1 second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well. And also drop a few comments in the comment section because we need the comments so we can get in the algorithm that we're talking about right now. We're going to do that. Yeah, they get all that. So anyway, as I digress, right? The system versus the soul. And the system designs us against this. And now it's kind of crazy and it's kind of hard to remember and it's kind of hard to live life without phones. And we see the essential things about phones and we don't understand the system. See, this program is made to deprogram you what you've been programmed to. And I'm going to say it a lot of times, but it makes sense because what they are trying to do is they are trying to program us. See, the older folks back in the day, they knew what it was. They call it programming, right? They used the correct terminology for it. See, now today we call it social media, right? Today we call it social media. Today we call it Instagram, right? Today we call it whatever platform you may use, Rumble, Tinder, whatever the case may be. These are the platforms, right, in which we try to use to elevate ourselves and see ourselves as the same as what we see on TV. And this is what I mean by earlier, right? Earlier I said art imitates life and life imitates art. And what that means is there's no relatability to the people on the screens unless they show something relatable to real life. So while the people on the screens, which we know this is fake, we know the camera's rolling, we know all this, right? But in order to make it relatable, they have to relate it to situations that we do in real life. I don't care what kind of fantasy, anime. I don't care what kind of cartoons you watching. What I'm saying is that this is what's happening. And then we have to understand the power of the algorithm as well. So now the algorithm, which did not exist. Let me fix my headphones. The algorithm, it did not exist up until what? YouTube 2010, you name it, 2009, 2010, 12, 13. Don't quote me on that. But what I will say is the power of the algorithm. This is the programming of the society. And that's why I keep saying that this program is made deprogramming to what you've been programmed to. Chances are, if you've been programmed a certain way, you will not like this stream. It's a very high chance that you will not like this stream. You want to know why? Because you was programmed a certain way. And what I'm doing is deprogramming. So you're going to be like, no. That's an immediate response, which is why and they want to ask why we don't get better rappers and why we don't get, that's why. Because what people are searching for, what people are interested in, what people click on is something totally different than what they say they like. Because the algorithm is deciding for us. And we don't understand that. And we don't understand the power of the algorithm. But check this out. This is the system versus the soul. This is how they program us. This is the system. It's systemic. And it's not just black people that's going through this system. Everybody goes through this system. This life is a system. The system is just a weaker word, or maybe I should say it's a more direct word than society. We like to use the word society, but this is the way society is built. That's why you got drama films, action films, and all that stuff. This is what people like to see. They don't like to see the real, the raw. They rather see something extravagant. They rather see something miraculous. They rather hear something so extremely sophisticated and well put together. It don't matter if it makes sense. It can be pure word salad and just a stream of consciousness, but they still rather hear it. This is the system versus the soul. All right, so y'all, I got another video, right? And we just going to dissect this, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing that screen, right? I'm going to share this other screen, right? And by no means am I inciting government violence or anything like that. This has nothing to do with government violence. This has nothing to do with our feelings or our emotions. And see, this is what they prey on. This is what the algorithm preys on. This is why the algorithm exists. You notice how when you start to like and you start to comment on it, it starts showing you more and more videos of they are programming you. Eventually they get you off the rail into some radical stuff. And I'm gonna say that again, and I'm gonna say it real brief and real light because we on YouTube and this is what they do. We trying to get in the algorithm too, but we trying to deprogram people. But what they do, and I'm gonna slow it down, is once you start to comment on certain things, whether you like it or not, they're gonna continue on feeding you this content. They know all publicity is good publicity, whether it's good or bad. Because when you see something that you don't like, it sends you on rage. It sends you in a rage. It affects and impacts you emotionally. And then what I got to say about that too, which is crazy because this is what they do. They prey on our emotions. A lot of times, this is what all of the major, what do you want to call them, advertisements or whatever, they prey on your emotions. Once they can touch and strum on them emotional strings, they gonna keep on strumming until the strings pop. If you get what I'm saying. Once the emotional musicians, then this is the problem that I have with Oprah and Tyler Perry, because while they are media mongols, that's what they call them, media mongols. They got all these terminologies, but really what they are social engineers. I know you probably never heard of that term either, right? They social engineers. Did you not hear what I just said? They social engineers. These people are engineering society. This is why we get the movies that we get. This is why we can't get better movies than Slave and Us Coming Out of Oppression. This is why we cannot get it. And now they said, since the white people don't do it no more, we got enough black people that's able to step up and take the way and say, look, we're gonna continue on with those type of movies instead of making movies that uplift us. Let me tell y'all something that I learned from a wise man, right? And I know because social media, the algorithm, right? The same algorithm I'm talking about, they made Bill Cosby to seem like a villain, right? But it wasn't until Bill Cosby and he had the Cosby Show and he was showing black people and all that stuff, a life where black people could live and go to college and get college degrees, then a lot of black people started flooding the colleges. They did not tell you that. I don't care about what Bill Cosby then did or whatever his charges was. I'm telling you what he did in terms of the music industry. Excuse me, not just the music, the entertainment industry. The same is with Tyler Perry as well too. So no disrespect and no shade to the brother. I gotta give the brother respect, right? Because the brother pays actors more than Hollywood does. He treat our people better and he paid them better than Hollywood does. And this is what Taraji was saying, and maybe Monique had a lot to do with that because she had got on him and Lee Daniels, but that's neither here or there. What I'm saying is, it's the system versus the soul. See, the system got us trapped up in all this stuff. Well, oh yeah, we got to work all day. We got to work 60, 50, 70, 80, 90 years of our life. We got to pay into the system, not caring about our dreams and our goals. See, the system will tell you, you got to work, work, work. You got to pay them bills, pay them bills, pay them bills. But your soul going to tell you, man, it's something else that needs to be done. There's more to this equation. Your soul gonna tell you that. And I'm telling you, the algorithm is aiding and better in the system. Down to AI. We don't AI technology, trust me, it's ultra useful. Right? AI technology is ultra useful. It's extremely useful. But who controls this? We should ask ourselves, who pulls the strings to this stuff? We should ask ourselves, how come when we elect black politicians and stuff like that, we should ask ourselves, why is it that they fold on us and they never keep their word? Why is it that politicians lie to us all the time? Why is it like that their MO? It's like once you get in office, then whatever. How could it be that President Trump passed a big, beautiful bill within 6 months of inauguration, 6 or 7 months of inauguration? How could he pass a big, beautiful bill and the majority of Americans don't even agree with the bill? Black, white, Democrat, or Republican, the majority of Americans don't even agree with the bill. How is that? Because the way that this system is set up is different from the way that your soul is set up. And you're wondering why you're having conflict in your mind and in your brain, because you are you straddling the fence between the system and the soul. You on the line. That's what it's designed to do. And guess what? It's called the World Wide Web. That's what it's called. I'm going to say it again. It's called the World Wide Web. And I'm going to tell you something else. This program made it deprogramming what you've been programmed to. See, when you hear from a black man, you don't believe that. For some women, when you hear from a man, period, you don't believe that. For some men, when you hear from a woman, period, you don't believe that. It could have came from a dog, a sheep, a goat. It could have came from anybody, but you still wouldn't have believed that. See, some people got to see in order to believe, right? But that's why I got the videos. So I already pulled up the screen. Let me go ahead and share the screen. Hopefully it don't show no commercials. I'm going to go ahead and highlight it so you can't see us. Let's go ahead and play this video. Let's do it. Let's take this back. Hopefully it don't show no commercials.
These days, we have 24-hour news. The sound bites never stop, and the wars never stop.
And by the way, make sure y'all go ahead and like and share the stream. This one is going to be one to deal with. I might pause it throughout just so I can deal with what he's saying. So let me take it back another time so we can hear it. I'm going to try to let it play.
These days, we have 24-hour news. The sound bites never stop, and the wars never stop. Iraq, Afghanistan, Palestine. This film is about the war you don't see. Drawing on my own experience as a war correspondent, it will look mainly at television, concentrating on the most popular channels in America and Britain. The film will ask, what is the role of the media in rapacious wars like Iraq and Afghanistan? Why do many journalists beat the drums of war, regardless of the lies of governments? And how are the crimes of war reported and justified when they're our crimes?
Pay attention. I want you guys to pay attention. I don't care at what time or point that you receive this message, at what I'm saying, I want you guys to pay attention.
Pioneer of modern propaganda was this man, Edward Bernays. Bernays invented the term public relations. He wrote, "The intelligent manipulation of the masses is an invisible government which is the true ruling power in our country." He was part of a secretive group called the U.S. Committee on Public Information, set up in 1917 to persuade reluctant Americans to join the war in Europe.
Edward Bernays and Walter Lippmann go to Woodrow Wilson and say, look, man, if you're going to enter into this war, we are going to need to sell this war to the American people.
Whoa, 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 whoa. All right. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Did y'all hear that? He said that the point in his public media and his public relations, see, and this is why I brought evidence, because if I was just to sit here and rant and rave, people be like, yo, you are freaking crazy. You are a freaking idiot. You are a nut house. You are a nutcase, and you belong in an insane asylum somewhere tied up in a straitjacket and all white with 4 walls that's all white in a quiet room. That's what they would say if I wouldn't have pulled up this video. But I'm telling you to pay attention to what they telling you public relations is for. This is what the algorithm is for. Wake up. Wake up. Being woke has nothing to do with your horoscope. It has nothing to do with your horoscope. Being woke has everything to do with knowing what goes on around you. And I said it slow for a reason. I said it slow for a reason, because when you sleep, right, the literal definition of sleep, because sleep, they say, is the cousin of death, right? It's the cousin of death, because when you sleep, you're unaware of what goes on around you. And I know, look, I'm going to say a lot of things that a lot of people struggle with, but this is BMore4Real. I'm not here to coddle people's feelings and emotions. I'm going to tell you another thing. The living don't know what the dead doing, and the dead don't know what the living doing. That's just how we can see things. Because once you close your eyes and you go to sleep, you can't hear that door slam, you can't hear nobody, you can't see nobody walk out of it, you can't see, you can't hear nothing. As a matter of fact, where you are as a person is totally different than where your body is, depending on if you're dreaming or not. I must repeat that again. Whoa. What did OMG just say? I said, depending on if you're dreaming or not, where you are as a person, who you are as a person, you are one place and your body is fixed in another place. You are someplace else other than where your body is at. Did you hear what I said? Oh, all right. So now I'm crazy. Now I don't make sense. Now y'all don't have dreams. I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it, but it's sad. That's sad. That's ultra sad. It's extremely sad. But anyway, as I digress, did you not hear what they just said about this algorithm? Did you not just hear what they just said about this PR, what they dressed up? It's like I said, it's a lot of words for it, it's a lot of terminology for it, but this is what they call it. But this program is made to deprogram you to what you've been programmed to. Anyway, so what I'm saying is that they just told you what the algorithm was. They told you who made the algorithm, and they told you why it was made for, and now they're telling you in the early stages of how it was used for. It was used to enlist the Americans to join the war. Did you not hear that? Or am I crazy? What just happened? What just happened? Are they really dishonest? Is this stuff really out there? Is this information really out there? Am I really a dummy with a smartphone? Or am I really an idiot and I'm holding the whole power of the internet in my hand? What's the case? What's going on? We're going to see. Let's go ahead and continue to share this video.
And so Wilson institutes and creates the first modern propaganda machinery. It was actually quite brilliant in its conceptualization, so that the best way to persuade people is to grab them by their emotions, by their unconscious and instinctual urges. Let's not bother with pumping out facts. Let's scare the hell out of people. A picture of the Statue of Liberty in tatters, crumbled into the New York harbor with German planes flying around it. A picture of the world being gobbled up by the bloody hands of a gorilla wearing a German helmet. So, it's not about facts anymore. The facts don't matter.
Okay. Man, I'm trying not, I promise you I'm trying not to pause this like that. But did you just hear what the man just said? He just told you what they did. They propaganda, they said, look, they put these depictions in there. They did this, they engineered this, they engineered these thoughts, they engineered that thoughts. You don't think your thoughts is engineered? Look, I told you this program is made to deprogram what you've been programmed to. So I'm sorry if I'm stepping on your toes or hurting your feelings, but look, your thoughts are not your thoughts. It's not your thoughts as much as you would like to think that they are your thoughts. And this is what I'm telling you about the algorithm. This is why this program is made to deprogram what you've been programmed to. This is why this episode is the system versus the soul. What is the system? How do we understand the system in a way that we can control our souls so that we can live freely? Because understand this, a lot of people that deal with problems in the mind, is only the battle between the system and the soul. Because the system told you got to keep paying them bills. The system told you got to keep on feeding them children. The system tell you got to keep on doing this the way that they tell you to do it. But your soul is saying like, yo, I know it's something more to this. I know it's something more to this. Look, man, I can't tell y'all enough. And what I will say is this. Look, the question that needs to be asked and to stop us from being distracted is you need to first stop and wonder who really benefits from us being in this distraction. Right? We argue over rappers. We argue over politics. We argue over celebrities. Meanwhile, the cost of living is climbing higher than heaven. The cost of living is climbing like it's chasing heaven. I don't think they just heard what I said. I don't think they just heard what I said. The cost of living is climbing like it's chasing heaven. While we sit up here arguing over these rappers, arguing over these politics, arguing over these celebrities, talking about this drama, our mental health is shrinking like it's tied to bricks and dumped in the ocean. We think we got choices. Democrat, Republican, gay or straight, Apple or Android. We think we got all these choices, right? Netflix or Hulu. But what are these choices? And who's giving us these choices? Did we ever think about that? What are these choices and who's giving us these choices? The choices to scroll, to like, to share, to comment, to get in the algorithm. Who's giving us these choices? Who's influencing us? This is look, first of all, hit that like, share, and subscribe button because we need to get in the algorithm too. We got other intentions. It's harder for us because we got a different way. We taking a different way. We taking a different route. We not kissing ass to get to the top, and we never will. We being more for real. So whether you like it or not, whether you have some confirmation bias, which by the way, y'all should look at that episode too, because we here to enlighten the folk, bro. We don't gatekeep, we don't do none of that. Look at confirmation bias. If you got that confirmation bias, if you keep on listening to things that's gonna please you, guess what? You deserve to be lied to. If the only thing that you listen to is somebody that's gonna please you and tickle and scratch your ear, then you deserve to be lied to. Yes, I'm talking about you. Yes, I'm talking about you. If you feel some type of way and the shoe fit, guess what? You Cinderella. That's what I'm talking about. This is what's missing from society. And they want to say people like me, they crazy. But who's the real power? What is the real power that's controlling the narrative, that's controlling our emotions, that's controlling our perception? That's controlling our perception and how we perceive what's even possible. What is the ruling force? Who is the ruling force? Who runs the world? That's the question. Your mind should get boggled because after a while, when you keep voting and you don't see a change, and you've been voting Democrat for 40, 50, 60 years and you don't see a change, and you don't like the Republican Party because you see the orange man don't like the black party or whatever the case it may be. When you see those things, what do? Nothing. You know what you do? You switch the station, you turn on something that suits your ears, and you rather have that. That's confirmation bias. And for those who have confirmation bias, you deserve to be lied to. Because in the words of Chris Tucker, you can't handle the truth. You cannot handle the truth. And I know the screen blurry, I know it's all that, but guess what? The message is more important than the picture. I'm gonna paint a perfect picture like Leonardo da Vinci, but you gotta see it. The picture is only good as your perception at this point. Because we can look at the same picture and see two different things. And both of us could be right at the same time. Both of us could be right. Whether you see something positive or negative, we both could be right. Yes, we could. But who's the real power? Who gave us the internet? Who's controlling the internet? Who's feeding these corporations? Like, at what point will we, when we say, look, these corporations say, look, you only got so much sick time, you only got so much leave time. Like, yo, how much time do you think I'm gonna be sick? How you know how much time I'm gonna be sick? How much time do you think I'm gonna need for a vacation? How much time do you think I need on a vacation? They dictate that. The system dictates that. And when somebody buck against the system, everybody else look like, yo, you crazy. You wanna know why? They do that to save face. And I'm gonna tell you another thing. If you so afraid to speak up and stand out and all that other stuff, I'm gonna tell you another thing. You being controlled just like them puppets that you talking about us in the Illuminati. Just like them puppets that you talking about is all in the media and the presidents and all this other stuff. Just like you call them puppets, you being a puppet. When you are afraid to speak out against something that you don't believe in or something that you don't agree with, then you become controlled. Yo, I can't say nothing about Juneteenth because you know what? My job, it's a bunch of white people on the job. This is the system versus the soul. Can you not see that? Man, I know I'm not the only one. I know I ain't the only one. I'm going to clap it up for my damn self. If don't nobody clap it up, I'm going to clap it up for my damn self. That's the system versus the soul. Because you so afraid to speak, and they got us by the foothold, by the chokehold. They even got the white people and all that stuff. They even got y'all too, right? Thinking that Trump had a plan for y'all, right? It was all about this white stuff. But then you find out it's a classism system based on classism. You jump out of one frying pan and you hop into the next. You thinking that you got white privilege. Oh yeah, but how much money you got? What tax bracket you in? Oh, now it's a different ball game. See, they got us broke folk thinking that, oh yeah, claiming bankruptcy, he done went bankrupt. That yeah, man. If you don't learn that the smart people, the business people know when and how to go bankrupt, then that's your fault. This is the illusion that they place. And so, and furthermore, like my father used to say, shout out to my father. And furthermore, if they really wanted us to pay the taxes, they really wanted us to know the law and be law-abiding citizens, they would have taught us that in school. They would have taught us that in elementary school, like they teach us all this other bullshit. Excuse my language. But they would have taught us They would have taught us how to pay bills, how to balance a check, how to keep up with your credit. They would have showed us how to buy loans and all that stuff. But no, you got to pay for that. The game ain't free. And then once you do pay for that, you spend a lifetime getting yourself out of the debt that you done been in to learn that education. Is that not a trap? Man, come on, man. The system versus the soul, man. It's the system versus the soul. Let me go ahead and continue on. I'm going to go ahead and continue on because I rant and rave all day long, but we got to get through this.
For Edward Bernays, public relations was like a war on people, on bending their will.
Okay, I'm going to pause it right there. The public relations, see, they say too much in short little, in too little time, the way as though I have to exacerbate the point because he just told you that this is a war on people and he just, man. Rewind it if you got to, man. This is heavy.
He persuaded women to smoke at a time when smoking in public was not considered ladylike. He convinced a group of debutantes to parade along Fifth Avenue, holding up Lucky Strike cigarettes as symbols of women's liberation. To his delight, the press called these torches of freedom.
What he was interested in doing was creating an association between a product, in this case cigarettes, and the desire for women's liberation. It worked in the sense that it got lots of news coverage. It worked in the sense that women started smoking publicly, and in fact, smoking became a symbol of the new woman, of the emancipated woman.
So look, I'm not going to get all into the emancipation of women and the smoking. So let's not get too caught up there, right? We here to read between the lines. See, I don't accept everything as truth. We gonna chew the meat and throw away the bones, right? When you eating a fish, you don't eat all the bones. You know what you got to do? You got to pick through it. You know what I'm saying? For those Americans that do, I know Americans don't like to pick through fish, but other cultures will understand more so than Americans. But for those experienced fish eaters, you can't just take a bite of fish like you do a bite of chicken. You're gonna be in for a rude awakening. You might choke you might kill yourself, for real. No bull. But we just gonna chew the meat and throw away the bones. And we see the propaganda, we see the use of the algorithm and social media. And they didn't even have social media back then. This is the important. Social media is brand new. As far as we concerned, social media is brand new. But we got to understand the power of the algorithm, because if we don't understand the power of the algorithm, then we'll forever be under an umbrella that we don't even know we under. We'll be forever seeing from a veil that we don't even know is there. We know a veil is there for those that know, you know what I'm saying? The veil is still there. But if you imagine walking and you don't even know the veil is still there, you're blind, like you're literally blind. So this is the point and the purpose of bringing this up, the power of the algorithm. And they are teaching us, they are telling us. It's just up for us to get the information. See, the knowledge is there. The wisdom is there. The examples are there. It's just for us to reach and define it. And everybody is not on that type of timing. But what I will tell you is that this is what BMore4Real is here for. It's here to not only deprogram you what you've been programmed to, but to be more for real about our circumstances, to be more for real about who we are, to be more for real about what we face. Because if we can no longer face them, then we will be bleeding from wounds that we don't even know that we're bleeding from. It's like being shot or stabbed and all that other good stuff. And you don't even know where you shot or where you stabbed at. How you going to stop the bleeding? You're not. You're going to bleed out and you're going to perish. You're going to expire. And that's the kind of time that we are in right now. But let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's go ahead and highlight this. We gonna keep going.
It's like cigarette. You know you held my heart aglow between your fingertips.
Iraq, March the 20th, 2003. The creation of illusions and the selling of war had come a long way since Edward Bernays. The selling of this invasion depended on the news media to promote a series of illusions, like the link between Saddam Hussein and 9/11. This is the Pentagon, which spends almost $1 billion a year just on advertising, recruiting, propaganda, the selling of war.
There are Pentagon contracts with news organizations in terms of how to manipulate the news. There are Pentagon officials involved in press releases that go to the media in which intelligence is used to manipulate public opinion, which is a violation of the charter of any intelligence organization. Then you have retired generals who serve as press spokesmen for all the networks, and it's never revealed which military-industrial firms they work for.
Central to this is the co-opting and spinning of a media regarded as the freest in the world.
Showdown Iraq. If America goes to war, turn to MSNBC and the experts.
If we journalists, including myself, had right from the get-go, from the opening pop, had started asking the kind of tough, digging, aggressive questions we should have been asking, and doing our reporting, rather than just being kind of stenographers, go to a briefing, have an official say something, print it in the paper next day. If we had done our job, I do think a strong argument can be made that perhaps we would not have gone to war.
Whoa. All right, so I had to pause that, stop sharing that screen. Let's get that off of there. I had to pause that, stop sharing that screen. It was about to share some other stuff, commercials. But anyway, Dan Rather, and for those, if you know Dan Rather, he just said that if the journalists were more focused on asking questions and doing all that other stuff, right, rebuttaling, instead of being stenographers, for those that don't know what stenographers are, those are the people that's in court and they record everything. Instead of challenging what's saying, the judges and all that, the stenographers, they just there to record the conversation. And so basically he was saying that the journalists at the time, instead of them being able to just being stenographers or just recording the conversation, recording the conversation, and they would ask pertinent questions, then the United States would have never have been to war. So now you got to realize that the manipulation and the tactics of social media, this is why it's important what you listen to. Those things that we listen to, we start to become. The Bible puts it as this: as a man thinketh, so shall he be. As a man thinketh in his heart, so shall he be. And the same is true with life. As you think, your thoughts become your actions. Your actions become a habit. Your habit become a lifestyle. So that's just the way that life works. And they don't want to tell us that. They want to keep us in the blind. They want to keep us down in the ignorance. But that's the point that I'm trying to make. And I know I've been a lot, right? But this internet, right? And these corporations and all this stuff, they have us in chains. They have us at war. They got us at debt. This algorithm, it hits like dopamine. They charge us out of fear. But our soul, we see that we're not stupid. I know it's a lot of people that challenge what they see in the world, but I know their soul challenges it, but their actions don't. I know our soul challenges a lot of things. There's a lot of things that we see and we don't say, but your silence becomes a weapon against you. When you start to be silent, you give permission to those evil spirits that and those evil thoughts that took control of you to begin with. When you can't speak up for yourself, you become a backbone, you become a doormat, you become a welcome mat to those type of demons that's going to continue to plague you. And they're going to keep on knocking at your front door like you got a welcome mat with their name on it. And that's just the truth of the matter, right? See, our soul is not stupid. It knows when something wrong. It's the constant hum in our gut. It's that feeling. It's that voice in the back of our head that presses up on us, and you can feel them inside, right? And this is something personal. I'm not talking about in general. I'm talking about personally. When you got this spirit, when your soul
is not stupid, and your soul can identify what's wrong and what's right. You can feel it in your gut. Right or wrong. You can feel it in your gut. You can feel it in your chest. You can feel it in your body. I mean, you can feel it. You got a sense of it. And that be that thing when people be like, dang, when something went wrong, you be like, yo, I knew I shouldn't have did it that way. Yo, I knew I shouldn't have. And you felt it though, but you ignored it because that's and you know what happens? Your ignorance, your silence, by you not paying attention to it or just turning a deaf ear or a blind eye, by us doing that, it invited that spirit and it invited that environment, right? It invited that environment. They don't want to teach us how to sustain. They don't want to teach us how to live as people, right? Right? Because it's the system versus the soul. The system, the soul is reminding you that this stuff is not natural. The soul is reminding us that while we going to work and we working all these long hours and all this stuff, the soul is constantly reminding us that you got a kid at home, you got a spouse at home, that you got to care for as much as you care for your job. So your soul and the system is going to always be in conflict. Very rarely, I ain't going to say never, but very rarely is the system and your soul going to align. Because the system got one agenda and your soul got another. Your soul want the truth. The system want obedience without asking. Don't ask me no questions. You ever try asking your professors and doctors that you went to school and got your degrees from? You ever try asking them why the curriculum is the way it is? No. Did they ever try asking their professors? No. They only do what they are taught to do. This is what the system is for. It's not built and it's not made to make thinkers. It's made to make people almost like robots. But anyway, in closing, right? We go to war with the system. Our soul goes to war with the system all the time. And, you know, we always ask our questions. We always ask our questions, right? What happens when the soul goes to war with the system is the question. We always ask ourselves questions, but the question we should ask ourselves is what happens when our soul goes to war with the system? Now the answer, right? The answer is we should know in our soul that the system that is rigged. Number one, right off the bat, the system itself is rigged, it's set up, it's designed in a certain way to produce a certain outcome. So the fact that it is a system means that it's rigged a certain way. I'm going to say that again. The fact that it is a system means that it's rigged a certain way. The fact that it is a system means that it is rigged a certain way. But the system, right? The system is cold and the system is obsessed with control. It survives off of our obedience and our silence and our submission. But the soul, our soul is ancient. Our soul is sacred, and it doesn't require anybody's permission to shine. We don't need nobody's licenses and all these permits and other things to shine. Our soul, it does not need that. That's what makes us cry when we hear real music. You ever heard a real song and it touch you and it reach out and touch you? Like an angel. You ever heard a song or saw a movie or something and it really touched you to the point of tears? That's because it's real. That's because it came from the soul. We need more of those connections, not the system. See, we connected by the system. We need more soul ties, so to speak. We need more soul brothers and soul sisters because now we think of with the system and we wonder how we can turn on our own kind. It's because of the system. The system got us thinking that just because we a cop, just because we a lawyer, just because we could judge, just because we a judge, we gonna look down on other niggas that ain't out the trenches yet. And you're gonna be a tool of white supremacy and aid with the same system that got black folks locked up 3 times more likely. You're gonna follow the curriculums and not question the whatever you call it that they give the doctors. You're not going to follow the prescription or whatever that they give the doctors, even though black people are a lot more likely to die, not black people, but black women are twice as more likely to die in childbirth and labor. And there are a whole bunch of statistics in terms of diseases and all this stuff that we are disproportionate to that. But because you are a doctor and you went to school and learned their curriculum, man, you are not educated. You are indoctrinated. I'm going to say that again. You are not educated. You are indoctrinated. And let's get this right, because that is the system versus the soul. Because while your soul telling you, Mr. Police Officer, that this young boy, this young teen, he don't need to go to jail. His life can be spared. His record can be spared. But instead, because the system told you that when somebody commit a certain crime, bring them downtown. The same system that got these young brothers incarcerated 6 times more likely than any other race. But you don't understand that your position, that your rank and your position is putting us in position to be winning. But you shouldn't be in position to put us in poison. And you should not be ashamed. See, the system gonna make us be ashamed because we're gonna say what Obama couldn't say. Nigga, I'm president. Nigga, I'm gonna look out for my niggas. Obama couldn't say that shit, but if I was president, I'd be like, yeah, what's up, my niggas? What's up, my niggas? Where we at, baby? We on top, baby. What's up, my niggas? That don't mean I forgot about white folks, you stupid, dumb idiot. That don't mean that. But see, the system set us up against the soul. The system tell you, brother, you got to be outside the house every day. Don't spend no time with your kids. Be happy that you able to buy them gifts for Christmas. And be happy that they got a house over their head and food on the table. The system tell you, be glad with that. But what does your soul tell you? What does the child's soul tell you? I needed more time. So the system, not the sister, but the system and the soul will never align in most cases. Man, come on, man. This is the realest conversation ever. Your soul don't need permission to sign. This is the same reason why when we hear music and it relates to us, that it touches us. It touches us. This is the same reason why when something happens on the news and then we see Freddie Gray and we see George Floyd, that these injustices enrage us. This is the same reason why when you try to stand tall and you try to speak against injustices, that they try to shrink us. Don't tell me that your spirit is weak. I don't want to hear that. Your spirit, your soul, who you are, survived 100% of the things that you've been through. You done survived it today because you listening to me right now. Don't tell me that your spirit is weak. Don't tell me that your soul is heavy. Don't tell me that you feel like giving up because you living right now. Don't tell me that God ain't never brought you through nothing. The Most High Yahweh ain't never brought you through nothing, because 100% of the stuff that you've been through, you got through right now. See, the system is designed to make us see that, oh, we separated from the Most High. Where is the separation? Okay, there was slavery. Okay, there's these bills. Okay, there's that label. Okay, somebody told you this. Somebody told you that. But still we can rise. See, there is no true testimony without a test. How is we going to rise? How are we going to rise without a test? See, we want to have all these accolades and not go through nothing. Oh, yeah, he good, he nice. How you know he nice? How you know she nice? How you know she good or he good at what he do and he ain't never been tested? He ain't never been through the fire. You ain't never throw him in there. You ain't never been tried. And you want to ask God, why was it a tree in the midst of the garden? What gives us free will? What constitutes choice? What constitutes spirit? What constitutes soul? We got all these questions and they don't want to give us the answers. You want to know why? Because the system is not designed for the soul. And the system was not made for us to see that we had freedom. The system was designed to make for us to forget that we ever even had it. Again, the system was not designed for us to make us seem like we got freedom. The system was designed to make us feel like we never had it. But they sell us the illusion that this is your choice. You got light skin, you got dark skin, you got tall, you got short.
You got Democrat, you got Republican, liberal, and conservative. You got all these made up superficial choices. The whole time it's powered by algorithm. How do we reclaim our peace? How do we reclaim our kids and teach them the truth instead of trauma? How do we keep our souls from dying amidst this social media construct? How do we keep our souls, our precious souls? Because trust and believe, the algorithm, what you see online and all that stuff is fighting against your soul. You always gonna be at conflict, and I'm telling you, almost never, I ain't saying never, but almost never is there gonna be a time where the system aligns with your soul. Almost never. But the crazy thing is that it's people that's powered behind the system. And how come we can't reach their souls of the people that's powered behind the system? What's driving it? What's the drive? If it's not the people's soul, then whose soul is it? What soul is driving it? What spirit is behind it? But here we are again. We on the mic. We on a platform. We digging again. It's one truth at a time, man. One mic at a time. One truth, man. One mic at a time. It's difficult to come on here and tell y'all what I'm telling y'all, because a lot of people ain't gonna say that. And even if they do cancel me, guess what? I'm going out knowing that I did what was right. See, when I say the system versus the soul, you gotta remember that our ancestors, Martin Luther King, right? He fought and died for this. He knew that when he went up against the system, when he bucked up against the system, he knew what was coming to him. Malcolm X, when he bucked up against the system, he knew what was coming to him. Marcus Garvey, when he bucked up against the system, he knew what was coming to him. Oh, I got something for you religious folks. Jesus Christ, when he bucked up against the system, even his own brethren, even the ones in the temple, he knew what was coming for him. See, it's that fear that we operating out of, which is why we don't try to buck against the system. It's that fear that you're going to lose your job and that way to provide for your kids, because you're scared to go out on the same gifts that the Most High gave you. You scared. And the system is designed to instill that fear, because if you don't use the system or need the system, I don't care if it's goddamn welfare. I don't care if you're a tradesman. I don't care if you're on sports and a multi-millionaire like LeBron James. The system will tell you, once you start speaking about Juneteenth and all that stuff, you will never play another NBA game. You'll never get on another job site again with us. You'll never do that. The fear is there. The fear is there. And that's why I'm so adamant about what I'm speaking. Because a lot of us going to die knowing that we never did what we set out to do. A lot of us going to die knowing that we never took care of what we got to take care of. A lot of us going to die burying the gifts that the Most High gave us before repentance. And that's just real talk, man. It's BMore4Real. BMore4Real, man. Brought to you by way of Real Explosion. Realest conversation on the net, man. It's a lot to talk about. But maybe we'll continue this another time. Maybe we won't. But it's the system versus the soul. Let me know what you think about. Let's go. BMore4Real.
We planting seeds in the streets where the hearts is cold, where the young ones bleed, where the truth ain't told, where the pain run deep and the dreams get stole. We bring light to the block, the righteous seed will grow. From boys to kings, from girls to queens. No more suffering in our sleep, it's just a righteous dream. We speak light in the mist where the darkness unfold, healing our youth, hoping y'all could save their soul. I told her, bro, you're a king, not a beast in a cage. You was made with a purpose, not to die full of rage. And sis, she don't smile, she just stares through the pain. A victim of our silence and emotional change. But we live off slow, show a prayer still heals. That Yah is still close and his anointing is real. Our trust issues is heavy, it's a war in our soul. Heart been shattered so many times that she barely feel whole. The pain in her past got her walking on edge. But I told her that she royalty, so lift up your head. Cause ain't nobody perfect, yeah we all got scars. But Yah, he see your tears, yeah he there when you call. We planting seeds in the streets where the hearts is cold, where the young ones bleed, where the truth ain't told, where the pain run deep and the dreams get stole. We bring light to the block, the righteous seed will grow. From boys to kings, from girls to queens. No more suffering in our sleep, it's just a righteous dream. We speak light in the mist where the darkness unfold, healing our youth, hoping y'all could save their soul.